Today, I'll be taking 3 of Marvel's most iconic comic book covers, taking a closer look at what makes them work so well, and reimagine them in my style, and by the end, I'll take lessons that I've learned from redrawing these covers and create a brand new cover for my superhero, Bullet Boy. Let's go back to the start of Marvel as we know it. 1961, the beginning of Marvel's Silver Age, which saw the release of Fantastic Four #1. Now let's take a look at this cover. Artist Jack Kirby's composition does an excellent job conveying the chaos of this moment. Reed Richards, Susan Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm as the Thing are scattered throughout the frame, preparing to tackle the incoming threat. And it seems like it caught them by surprise too. They're just wearing their normal clothes.
And why aren't you in uniform?
My approach is going to be to try and tighten the composition, really bring the Fantastic Four closer to the action, so we can really see their expressions and get a real idea of the threat they're facing in this issue. You know, this whole scene is kind of funny because while this monster does appear in the comic, the Fantastic Four aren't really even the ones who fight it. About halfway through the first issue, this exact monster appears out of nowhere and destroys an entire military base, after rising out of the ground, foreshadowing the appearance of the Mole Man. To be fair, the Fantastic Four do meet a bigger version toward the end of the issue, not in a city but on Mole Man's Monster Island, alongside a bunch of other creatures. Either way, it's a really cool looking cover, and definitely makes you want to read more. As I'm laying down my first sketch layer, trying to decide what the new composition will be, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, War Thunder. War Thunder is a free-to-play game that drops you into epic battles across land, air, and sea, all in beautifully crafted locations around the world. Dominate the skies in a jet, lead the charge in a tank, or outmaneuver enemies on the open sea. And the more you play, the more you can upgrade and customize your vehicles. Where War Thunder really stands out is its realism, not only using authentic sound effects and getting rid of conventional health bars, but giving every hit its own consequence. And with the latest storm warning update, you've got ray traced lighting that makes every map look stunning, as well as new vehicles like the Eurofighter Typhoon and Rafale, plus the M44 for ground combat, and a new map called Attica you can use to test everything out. Download War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox by using the link in the description below. All new players and those who haven't played War Thunder for half a year or more will receive some special bonuses: 100,000 Silver Lions, a special decorator Eagle of Valor, and more. You can also immerse yourself in War Thunder Mobile. Download it for free on iOS or Android using the link in the description. In the original cover, The Thing and Mr. Fantastic are sort of facing away from the camera, and Reed Richards in this case, despite what he says, doesn't really look like he's ready for action. But let's pose him in another way that maybe shows him making a little more progress in his escape. And The Thing looks like he just got here, so maybe we'll show his superhuman size and strength by having him lift the car instead, casting a nice shadow on his face to make him look really mysterious. Man, I really enjoy how the Human Torch was drawn in these early issues. The flames obscure his form a bit, and he literally looks like a ball of fire that just came to life. So I want to try and evoke that a bit here. And for Invisible Woman, I figured we'd surround her in one of the shields that she'd later become known for, giving her a real chance to escape the monster's grasp. Because in the original version, she talks about not being able to turn invisible fast enough to escape when the monster is clearly already holding on to her. Like, ma'am, game over. He's already got you. It's too late. Once the lines and colors were done, I had to carefully place speech bubbles to guide the reader's eye in the correct way. And there we have it, Fantastic Four #1. For my next cover, I'll be jumping into my favorite comic from Marvel's Silver Age, Amazing Fantasy #15, the introduction of Spider-Man. It's been reprinted, homaged, with a mint copy being sold for $3.6 million.
I need that money.
I've probably drawn Spider-Man hundreds of times by now, and seeing as he's the main superhero that inspired the creation of Bullet Boy in the first place, I'm really excited to put my own spin on this already iconic cover. Now at face value, this cover tells you everything you need to know about the character. You've got Spider-Man, high-flying acrobatics, and a criminal in tow. But in the years of Spider-Man comics following, we know there's a lot more Spider-Man's capable of doing. So for this version, I pictured him grabbing the criminal with just his fingertips, showing off his sticky wall-crawling powers in action as he dangles this criminal high above the city. I love the perspective we have on the action in the original comic, but for the sake of this redraw, I figured we'd point the camera down to try and give the viewer a better idea of just how high up we are. This guy has a right to be terrified, and to be completely honest, I have no idea what he did to deserve this. And now that I'm thinking about it, who are these guys? Are these other criminals?
Who are you? you people?
Is Spider-Man gonna come back and get them too? I'd better stop asking questions and stick to drawing. I went back and forth on how to do Spidey's suit webbing, but I decided to go with the classic look. And for the colors, I tried to blend the original retro aesthetic with some modern shading, really trying to make the red of his suit pop. Now, something that I didn't realize about this cover, co-creator Steve Ditko wasn't responsible for drawing it. This is also Jack Kirby's art. This is actually Ditko's version, which was later used as a variant cover for Amazing Spider-Man 700, with the same speech bubbles and everything, kind of like the ones I'm gonna add to mine right now. Only I'm gonna remove the tails from these bubbles, just so it doesn't seem like Peter is screaming out his real name to everyone in earshot. Nobody messes with Peter Parker. Who's that? And here we have it, Amazing Fantasy number 15, redrawn by yours truly. This is just one of those covers that makes a video like this really challenging. There's so much charm to the original that it's almost impossible not to favor its simplicity. Now, this next cover, also drawn by Jack Kirby, is also deceptively simple as well. 1963's X-Men number 1. This cover introduces us to Cyclops, Angel, Beast, Iceman, and Marvel Girl as the X-Men, as they take on the infamous Magneto. This cover is all about the characters, and while it's really cool to see them all in action here, the closer I look at it, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what everyone's doing. I mean, look at Angel. What's he holding? Is that a bazooka? I looked everywhere in the comic, and it's safe to say Magneto doesn't get one-shotted with a rocket launcher. Hang on, I gotta look this up. Oh, okay, I feel kind of dumb now. Obviously, Magneto is using his magnetizing powers to throw a metal beam at him. I guess that's what these little action lines are for. Honestly, I think the very center is what my eyes are drawn to, and they're Beast's feet. Maybe in my redraw, I'll try and find a new focal point for the piece. It's also unfortunate I won't get to draw Beast as he appears later in the comics. The blue fur is kind of a cool look. Now, Cyclops might be the only one actually fighting Magneto. I mean, Iceman is throwing snowballs and missing at point blank, while Jean Grey as Marvel Girl is just standing in the background doing nothing. She's Jean Grey with telekinesis, powers that, I don't know, sound pretty helpful to me. I mean, Beast was just gonna swing down from his metal bar and jump on him. Jokes aside, it was a real challenge to think of a new or interesting way to change up the composition and stay true to the spirit of the original. I mean, this is a lot of characters on one page, and I gotta say, Jack Kirby's original makes it look easy in comparison, and I have the added benefit of digitally being able to move everything around and reposition it as many times as I want. I ultimately decided to go for more of a dead-on angle that makes Magneto's presence at the bottom of the page a little more ominous, while we get a great angle on the rest of the X-Men with Cyclops at the center. I also really like the idea of making it look like we're tuning into the action just before the fighting really starts. Now, there is actually quite a bit of action from the comic itself that this cover is trying to evoke, so I think we can tie some of that in here. We can try and really sell that Magneto's throwing everything he's got at our heroes. But this time, Jean Grey is using her powers to push them back. And this time, Angel's gonna try and block it ahead of time. Will he be successful? I mean, I guess we'll have to read the issue and find out. Magneto also fires some rockets at them in the issue, so I drew some of those on the cover as well, thinking we could show Beast effortlessly leaping over them in an animalistic pose. As for Iceman, I guess he's making the ground slippery? The rest was just dropping the lines in. Laying colors was also really easy because everyone pretty much wears the same thing, and once I finished adding colors and shadows, I added some different colors to show off the different powers. Then I finally called my redraw of X-Men number 1 finished. And now it's time to take everything that I've learned and draw my very own cover for Bullet Boy. While these covers were difficult to redraw at times, this cover for Bullet Boy is going to be difficult in a way that none of the others were. Drawing the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and the X-Men was so much easier because most of the work had been done for me. In this case, Jack Kirby had already created these incredible characters that, thanks to his work here, have ingrained themselves in my mind. We're so used to seeing them everywhere, but they all started here. Now it's my turn to try and create something original for my own hero story. I want to make sure that I'm showing off the expression of our main character so we really know how he feels in taking on this larger-than-life threat. At the same time, I want to show off his powers of super speed so the reader knows what kind of superhero we're dealing with. Seeing as issue 1 of Bullet Boy is already out and available on my website, I figured we'd take a stab at drawing the cover for issue 2. You'll want to make sure you're subscribed so you know when it drops. Now, the scene from the comic that this cover is referencing is shaping up to be pretty fun. The idea is to have a Voyager Ninja trying to escape after pulling off a big heist. And Bullet Boy is running up these walls to catch him. I'm going for a composition that really makes them feel like they're facing off. We can see Bullet Boy using his super speed with a determined look on his face that without any words can tell us what kind of chase this has been so far. Comment below what you think of this cover. Should I use it for the final issue? And let me know which of these Marvel redraws was your favorite. And who knows, if this video does well, maybe I'll do one for DC Comics or another one of Marvel's eras. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video right here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.